Before I start, there's a lot of misconceptions about Muslims and non-Muslims, and after the whole 9/11 thing, and even today, you hear the Boston thing. They haven't blamed the Muslims yet, except for Fox News, but everybody else, no one has blamed the Muslims yet. But I just want to make sure everything's clear here that we Muslims have nothing to do with. We, as you can tell, many of the people living here peacefully. We don't want anything. There's 5 to 8 million Muslims living in America, and 99.9% of us don't do anything like you just see on the guy running on the cops or anything like that. So, do we have any non-Muslims here? Can you raise your hands? Get him! I'm just joking. Is he kidding or is he so? Okay. By the way, I can only do that on stage. I can't do it at the airport. I get scared to death. Okay. I was sitting there thinking, like, how should I open up and talk tonight? Because I don't really practice or set up material until I see the audience, because I never know who's going to come. As you can see, we have older people, we have younger people, we have little kids in the front row. So I don't know what material to set up, so I have to kind of like figure it out when I'm sitting right there. So that was my introduction. Okay. Someone's taking my picture and it's not the FBI. It's kind of cool. Okay. I travel a lot. I travel quite a bit because I do this whole Baba Ali thing. Let me rewind a bit because I didn't get an introduction, so I'll do my own introduction. A few years ago, I did this videos on YouTube that got quite popular. And overnight, literally overnight, I started getting invitations to go and speak here and speak there. And next thing I know, I've been in nearly 200 cities all around the world. I'm the only quote-unquote Muslim comedian that's performed in Saudi Arabia, and I will never do that again, by the way. I went to Saudi Arabia and I was performing, and the audience was like this. And I'm like sweating. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll never do this again. But so I did these videos on YouTube, and they got quite popular. And from city to city to city, which is kind of cool, except I got stopped at the airport. January 8th, 2008. We were flying from Heathrow to Los Angeles. They said, everyone, we need you to take out your passport. We're looking for someone. And we're all on the flight, and this is an 11-hour straight flight, and we're thinking to ourselves, there must be a terrorist on this flight. So we all take out our passports, and one by one, as we're walking out of the plane, this is a true story. We start taking them out, and they're looking and says, okay, you're okay. You're okay. And I'm looking around. You're with us. We got it. No one else has to show their passports anymore. I'm like, what? And I lived in Los Angeles for almost my whole life. I'm like, this must be some type of mistake. So then I realized, okay, this is post 9/11. It's 7 years after 9/11, so I don't know what's going on, but something's weird. And I've been stopped by airport security. I know what airport security randomly means. This is how they stop, by the way, for airport security. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, eeny, meeny, miny, Mohammed. So I've been Mohammed at the airport many times, so I know what it is. So I'm joking with these guys. And at one point, one of the officers said, dude, you seem to be very, he didn't say dude, he said, you seem to be very calm for a guy who's stopped by us. I said, yeah, I've been stopped by airport security all the time. He's like, we're not airport security, we're Homeland Security. And right there, I'm like, and then I go to one part of LAX I've never seen before. One part of security, because pretty much you get the full tour when you're in Middle Eastern. This part of security I've never seen before. And they stopped me, and they went through the linings of my bags, they asked me questions, and eventually they popped over my laptop and said, what's on your laptop? And I said, look, I have nothing to hide. I live in this country. I live in Los Angeles. And there's nothing. I don't know. One thing I have to tell you, I do burn CDs with videos that I make, but I don't know which one's what. You might be pop one of them in. I said, sure. I've made nearly 100 videos on all these random topics. Of all the videos that can come up, this video came up. It's a video called Muslim While Flying. This is where I make fun of how stupid airport security is. A true story. They pop it in. Usually the audience laughs. They're not laughing. They're trained not to laugh. I'm like, this is not fair. And they're just sitting there staring. And I'm like sweating. I'm like, oh, I'm going to Guantanamo. I'm going to Guantanamo. I don't even look good in orange. This is terrible. And then they're watching, and eventually it gets to a part of the video where I say, in order for us to change the image of Muslims, we have to be better Muslims, better examples. And then the supervisor, there's 3 of them, he smiles and nods his head yes. And when he smiles, the other 2 guys look at him and I guess it's cool to smile, so they start smiling because they're trained not to smile. And then when they're all smiling, and I'm smiling like crazy, but then they stop smiling. So I'm like, okay, this is. But then they start talking to me and say, you know what? You're a good guy. You can go. that's it? I said, yeah, that's it. We watched the videos, you seem to be cool, you're okay. Okay, see you later. Usually I ask people, what did you like about the videos? How can I improve? In this situation, before you change your mind, I'm out of here. But I quickly realized that there's small things that you can do after 9/11 that get you in trouble. So, as I said, I'm not a comedian. I'm going to make this a little more interactive for you guys. I want you guys to repeat after me. Say, they're not going to throw you off the airplane. Can you guys do that for me?
They're not going to throw you.
With some energy. Okay, they're not going to throw you off the airplane. Okay, 5 things not to do, even though it's completely innocent. By the way, all of our non-Muslim friends, you guys can do all of these things, no problem. People who are brown like me, you're in trouble. All right, 5 things not to do. No matter how good the food is on the flight, don't ever say, this is the bomb. If you do, what's going to happen?
They're going to throw you out of the airport.
They're going to throw you off the airplane. Number 2, this actually happened to me. See how that thing just went off? I had a stopwatch. And what happened was, they tell you you're going to be performing for 30 minutes. So I didn't know what 30 minutes feels like because I don't wear a watch on stage. So I started performing on the plane. I'm like, beep, beep. And I remember this girl sitting next to me, she's like cutting out next to her boyfriend, like, who's this guy? I'm like, oh man, she's probably scared to death. So I slowly took off my stopwatch, put it in my carry-on, put it under my seat, and I completely forgot that there is a alarm on it. And it's a sports watch. It went so if your clock in your carry-on is going off in the airplane, what's going to happen to you? These are all innocent things. Number 3, you see your friend, non-Muslim friend. His name is Jack from university. You want to say hi to him. How do you say hi to him?
Hi, Jack.
What happens when a guy says hi, Jack on the airplane? All right, innocent. You're flying with a friend, and there are guys named Osama who are not terrorists. They're just named Osama. It's the name. His name is Osama. He has a window seat. You have a window seat. And he says, when the time for prayer comes up, wake me up. So you look outside the flight, and you have a window seat, and the sun sets. It's time for Maghrib prayer. Osama, wake up! It's time! It's time! What happens to you in sleeping, Osama? That's right. Finally, if you have a beard like me, they're not going to throw you off the airplane. If you're wearing hijab, a headscarf like the sister in the front row, they're not going to throw you off the airplane. But if you have a beard and you're wearing hijab, it's suspicious. What's going to happen? Even pronouncing things can be incorrect. Sometimes in the flight, well, I was at one time, I think it was in, it was some Northern California, I think it was Vancouver, near Vancouver. And this lady, she was with in the random security area, and you notice, when you go to random security, everyone looks just like you, by the way. So you're sitting in random security, and you notice that sometimes their English isn't very good, and you can pronounce things that are wrong. So I think to myself, wow, just pronouncing something could get you in trouble. Watch this. All right, Bob, all these guys are terrorists. Watch this. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, eeny, meeny, miny, Mohammed, sir. Let me talk to you for a second. 1 second. Yes? What's his problem? Sir, what is your, can I have your passport? What is your name? My name is Abu Yusuf. Bob, he just said he's abusive. No, not abusive. Abu Yusuf. Listen, I have bag, I have camera, I am tourist. Bob, he said he's a terrorist. And the smallest things get you in trouble. You know, it's funny, all this stuff, let's go before 9/11, when I was in college. When I went to university, I went to something similar situation as many of the MSA students have here. Very few number of Muslims that come to the university. So some of the things that some people have never seen before, like in my college, some people have never seen Muslims before, let alone Muslims praying in public. I had a class, a social studies class, and right before prayer, right before class, me and my friend said, let's go pray Asr prayer before the sun sets. So we went and found the grass area away from our whole classroom so we don't cause too much attention. And we went to go pray, and he was leading the prayer, and I was standing right next to him. And he said, Allahu Akbar. And kid from class walks up to us and says, hey guys, class is about to start, we gotta go. And then we go to ruku, Allahu Akbar. And he's like, are you guys okay? And then we move up, Allahu Akbar. He's like, guys, this isn't funny, we have to go, class is starting. And the guy starts walking. And then we can't talk to him because we're praying, so we go into sujood, which we're prostration with our heads onto the floor, like, are you guys okay? So I think to myself, wow, if I was sick and I'm bending over is one thing, but both of us being synchronized sickness, I don't think so. But the guy doesn't get it. So then we sit up again, Allahu Akbar. He's like, guys, this isn't funny. Are you guys okay? And then we go to sujood again, Allahu Akbar. He's like, oh no, I'm gonna go get help. And he runs to go get help. SubhanAllah. Usually you have shaitan whispering one ear, but this guy's whispering the other ear. So it's impossible to pray. You know, some of the sisters, you guys have your own trials. When you have to go to shopping, where do you pray? In the fitting room. Why in the fitting room?
Because people stare at you.
Because it's not public? I actually prayed in the fitting room. It's a good example. I prayed in the fitting room. And I realized, almost for the same reason. Because I had to go pray someplace and there's nowhere to pray. And the last thing I'm like, hey, are you okay? So I want to go find a place. And when you're at a shopping center, this is a perfect place because it's a 4x4, almost like the same size as this stage area. And it's private, 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 and this is all public. The problem is like, when you're in these positions, you're fine. Once you're in ruku position, the guy who's next door, yeah, honey, I think I'm gonna buy these pair of shoes. Hey! There's someone looking at me! He's gone. There he is again! That was trial. You know, for me, it's like, subhanAllah, all this stuff is funny when it comes to Muslims and how we are here in America. But Muslims, we just have the same trials and tribulations as non-Muslims do, especially when it comes to relationships. You know, I've been married for quite a bit, but before I got married, no one told me anything about the differences of men and women. They just said, sign here, Mubarak, go figure each other out, and that's it. You're on your own. But, wow. Let me just explain some of the stuff I've learned being married for a while now. Number one, men and women communicate so differently. See the man on the gentleman walking up with the plaid shirt right now? You see how's he walking? Yes, you're now my victim. You see? He's walking away. Now, gentlemen, when you stand up and just walk away, as you guys know, if you make a right turn right there, there's a men's restroom over there. This is how guys go to the bathroom. Usually guys will stand up by himself, walk completely under everyone's radar. No one have noticed him unless I pointed him out, and he'll just go use the restroom. This is how guys go to use the bathroom. How do girls go to the bathroom? They look at their friends and say, I need to go pee. Her and all her friends get up and let's go pee. It's like the pee party. It's a team. It's a team effort. Even if you don't have to go to the bathroom, you go with her. Support. Men don't do this. We never say, hey bro, I'm gonna pee, you wanna come with me? We don't do that. We actually have this universal rule that no matter how deep the conversations, no matter how much we're talking, once we cross that line of the bathroom, you do not look at me, I do not look at you, do not talk to me, I do not talk to you. We're like, and then once we leave the bathroom, we continue our conversation, especially if it's like a personal conversation. But girls, it's completely, watch, I'm gonna show you guys. I have the men here, can I get a raise of hands? How many of you just start conversations with people in the bathroom? May I show the one person?
I was a principal in the Grand Central Station bathroom once, and I could not say hi.
But that's someone that you knew.
Years ago, but yeah, at every point.
Yeah, so as you can see, as I showed the court exhibit A, there's many men here. Girls, can I get a raise of hands before you raise your hands? And that you've spoken to someone, she's washing her hands, she's putting on makeup, you have no idea who she is, and you had a conversation with her. Can I get a raise of hands? I'll show the exhibit B to the court. So like, what are you talking about in the bathroom? Why? It's because girls are so much more social than men are. Men and women is different. There was a study done that showed average man speaks 12,000 words per day. So this is why guys, when they come home from work or school or whatever, and say, how was your day? He's spoken 11,999 words. He says, good. How was wedding? Who was there? Blah, blah, blah. Hello, everybody. He's spoken all his words. Guys know that they run out of words quickly. This is why they communicate with each other like this. And that's it. Two guys haven't seen each other for 2 or 3 weeks, and they're like, and that's it. If girls haven't seen each other for weeks, they're like, they don't do that. Generally, they don't do that. See, the thing is, as I said, no one tells you what marriage life is like. So, when you get married and you think you've been hanging out with guys your whole life, most of the time, so you think, okay, she probably speaks 12,000 words per day too. But then the rest of the study actually showed the average woman speaks 25,000 words per day. So, he comes home and says, how was your day, honey? She says, how was your day, honey? He says, fine. How was your day, honey? And she does this. Not only will she tell you about her day, she'll tell you about Khadija's day, Hafsa's day. Who is Hafsa? It doesn't matter who Hafsa is. You know about all her friends. They don't know you, but you know about everything they did today. Wow. Our social system, our social thing is so different. And then you realize how it's different, and there's not one gender better than the other. It's just both genders complement each other. You know, that's one of the things I learned through the whole marriage process. Is like we're so different. There's certain things like we learn in society that men can do, and there's certain things that women can do. And there's certain things that women cannot do that men can do, and there's certain things that men can do that women cannot do. I'll give you an example. Men have the ability of sitting in a room and looking at a blank wall like that for like 10 minutes and thinking about absolutely nothing. Nothing. Like, sometimes they're driving and their wife is looking at them and says, what are you thinking about? It's like nothing. She's in herself, she's thinking, what is he really thinking about? Because there's no way you can be thinking about nothing, because girls don't sit there and stare for 20 minutes and think about absolutely nothing. If they do, they're thinking about nothing, right? But guys, they sit there and just, like fire gazing, they're just gazing away, right? And this is how we kind of like relax sometimes. So, the whole thing about this aspect is like, you come home and you say, okay, this is how men relieve their stress. You know, they come home, they relax, they just want some peace and quiet, right? So when they get married, and you see let me just explain the difference. When men get stressed, what do? They start wars and invade countries, right? What do women do when they get stressed? They eat chocolate and go shopping, right? We really stress differently. So a man comes home, he's stressed, he wants to be left alone. I want to relax. I just don't want to play with kids, I don't want to listen to them, I just want to sit down and think about nothing, right? So when he sees his wife, and she's crying, he's like, wow, something must be wrong. And she's like, she starts crying loud. He's like, wow, I just got married and this is my first time I see her crying. I don't know what to do. He's thinking to himself, you know what I'm doing? I love her so much, I'm going to leave her alone for 20 minutes. And then she looks at him like, how insensitive. Doesn't he care? I love her so much, I always leave her alone every time she cries. So they don't understand the difference between the two. So anyways, guys have that ability of thinking about nothing. But one of the things that women can do that men cannot do. Women have the ability of making a sound. A special sound that guys, even when they try to do it, they can't do it. And before I get to the sound, I want to tell you guys a quick story because I'm talking about all this marriage stuff. Let me tell you a story about myself and how I actually met my wife. 11 years ago, I'm revealing my age. 11 years ago, I met my wife for the first time in Hyde Park, High Street, Kensington. It's in London. And she was sitting on a park bench and we were talking. After 20 minutes talking to this girl, and we had conversations before, but this is the first time I actually met her live. After talking 20 minutes with her, I took out a video camera. And she was like, what's that for? I said, just in case this actually works out, one day we might have children, and they're going to ask, how did you meet mommy? And I want to record it. Did you hear that sound? Girls, can you make that sound one more time so the rest of the people can hear it since you're on the microphone? You see? I actually recorded from that day to the day I married her professional, like real nice movie made through DVD cover, When Ali Met Layla, like the whole thing. And I gave it to her 5 years after marriage, but she has just yet. So, you see the all sound? Did you notice the guys? Did you notice the guys? What sound they make? This is it. They didn't make any sound. The reason guys can't make that sound because even if they try, this is what it sounds like. Guys are like, we're just not built that way. But girls, they know how to sympathize. They know how to show empathy. You know, sometimes like guys, when we get first married, like she's crying, and you're like, you say something dumb. This makes the situation worse. You see her, and you're standing next to her, and she's like, and you're like, want to make you a sandwich or something? Some silly, dumb thing. It's like, what? So anyways, so many different things that men and women can do this different from one another. Like, for example, men have the ability of either speaking or listening, but not speaking and listening at the same time. Watch tonight when you guys are having dinner, and watch if there's a table or a group of guys sitting next to each other, and watch them. If you remember anything from this conversation, because these are all true things, watch the men and how they communicate. One man will speak, and all the men will sit there and look at him. Then after he takes his turn speaking, another person will start, and we'll all look at him, and then we'll all look at him, and then we'll all look at him. We all take turns speaking while everyone looks at the one person. And if any time two people accidentally start speaking at the same time, one person, either you talk or you talk, I can't hear both of you at the same time. But when you watch the girl table, right, there's a circle, there's 8 girls, and every girl is facing another girl. And while she's facing the other girl, she's speaking to her, but her ear is listening to all the other conversations. And you watch it, and he's like, what? Really? Why did you guys go camping? If you take a guy and you bring him to the girl table, he is completely lost. He has no idea. He'll be sitting there for 5 minutes and say, what are they talking about? I have no idea. It's like 10 different things, and the guys, they lose track. And guys, the problem is we don't know to show that we're listening. This is why a lot of girls have no idea, is he really listening to me or not? Because the way men and women communicate, even sitting across from one another, is different. A man will sit across his wife, and his wife will, let's say 2 women are sitting across from one another. When one woman is speaking, the other girl's like this. No matter what the other girl is saying. And women do this. The reason they do this is because a head nod for a woman means I am listening, continue speaking. But for men, it's different. Men only nod when they agree. So when 2 men sit across from another, one guy is speaking, the other guy's like, that's it. So women and men, when they get married, the wife is talking to the husband, da 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 da, and the guy's like, and then she looks at him and he's like, what? Are you listening to me? He's like, yes, I am. Every man who's married or in a relationship knows exactly what I'm talking about. And he's heard this request, and he's never understood why he gets this request until right now. And the request is, if you are listening to me, repeat to me everything I just said. And to the awe of the amazement of the wife, he repeats it word by word. So, wow, you are listening. So let me save you a lot of recording skills and parenting skills. All you have to do is this. Aww. Like, wow, he's a very good listener. You know, I didn't start this in the very beginning, but I'm actually a Muslim convert. I know some of you guys, I was listening to the very beginning of the talk, some of you guys are here for a Islamic studies class. So I myself is, like, at the age of 20, I was at a point in my life, I was looking at different things in life and trying to figure out why I'm here, what's the purpose in life, etc., etc. And I didn't have a class to go to. It's kind of like the study of life almost to come to Islam. I'll explain to that more later. But coming into Islam has just been a very, very amazing thing for me because it's night and day compared to what my life was before. So maybe I should just touch upon that a little bit. Actually, I'll give you the almost the funny version of that. It was a while ago when I first was explaining Islam to me. When they first explained Islam to me, it's like, brother, Islam is easy. All we do is pray 5 times a day. That's a few minutes. Ramadan, 1 month, easy. Hajj, what's Hajj? Hajj And then, wow, this guy's, he's selling it so easy. Easy. And as soon as, how do you become Muslim? All you have to do is say the Shahada, just a few words, you're Muslim. Easy. Then I quickly realized after I accept Islam, that yes, Islam is easy, but Muslims make Islam hard.